Good morning, everyone. First of all, I need to say I feel terribly out of place because I'm an audio person and I speak at a digital signage conference. And I think in the past, we've been terrible enemies to each other. And if you just look around in this room, we fight about real estate. No? So the screen wants to be here, obviously, in the center stage. And me as an audio guy, I want to have the speakers center stage as well, because everybody wants to hear the sound where the artist is, where the talent is. And here we've lost. Speakers are on the left, on the right, far out. If you look around in the room, the speakers are on the very left and on the very right. What do I say? You know, audio lost this room. We couldn't do what we wanted to do. But the Sphere, for the very first time, is a project that, from its conception on, was built around the idea that, you know, not only to be a temple of the arts and, you know, one of the biggest digital signage projects ever, but that audio and video, audio and screen can coexist peacefully through technical integration. And I want to briefly show you a little bit about how that project went and how we made this happen. First of all, to introduce myself, by the way, my name is Michael Latke. I'm the head of engineering at Holoplot, a Berlin-based company that builds loudspeakers, you could say. I'll go a little bit into what we do later. So, who has seen this image before? Who's been inside the Sphere in Las Vegas? One person here. Who has heard of the Sphere? Okay, you've not lived under a rock, great. It's when opening the Sphere last year in October, I think for opening a venue, this was a pivotal moment. No? It's the first time it got a social media storm like this. It was the first time people really recognized that there is something new in this world, in the entertainment venue space. No? Before that, you know, if a venue somewhere in the world opens, yes, there's a new venue. Do people care about it? No. This was national news in literally every country in the world. And what we've done here is we built a space that is 20,000 people in a spherical building surrounded by one of the largest curved LED screens in the world. And there's been so many like firsts and biggest and best and whatnot that people just stopped counting. No? It was really a very visionary project that MSG, Madison Square Garden Company in the US, has brought to life here. And I can really say I've worked on this project 6 years of my life. It was a religious experience for me when I was in that room for the very first time, seeing U2 opening that stage. Many people have said it's the eighth wonder of the world. I wouldn't bring it that much up, but it's really, really impressive. It's something you haven't seen before, you haven't heard before. And I truly hope that you have the chance when you're all coming out to Infocom that you're actually going there and seeing it. Not just the concerts that they're putting on there, but also the movie content that they produce specifically for that building. I'm trying to give you like a little glimpse of how that opening night of U2 was. There's a little video that I hope will play right now. Sound, please. No sound. You all know Bono, he's singing. Shall we try this again with sound or no sound? We tried it before, it had sound. So what do we do as Holoplot? How did we achieve this? We are a company that has a strong focus, a strong vision, and the slide is jumping around as well, funny. We want to achieve an unparalleled experience of sound. And many that have been in Sphere have said it for a concert that was the best sound they've ever heard. There was a Rolling Stone article that said it was like a quantum leap for sound. And we do this through sound control, sound intelligence, and sound quality. And this is kind of the marketing pitch that I'm trying to give you here. But at the end of the day, what we're doing, we have built a new category of loudspeakers. What you see here on the left and the right, we call these column speakers. What we've built is what we call the matrix array. It's a 2D matrix of loudspeaker drivers that each of them is individually controlled and amplified, and that allows us to do something that the world hasn't done before. We can control sound. We often try to compare it to light. And I want to give you a little bit of a history here where we've come from in public address. On the very left here, you see what we call a point source. That's a loudspeaker like this little one here down on the stage for the people that can see in the front. What it means it does, it's like a light bulb. It radiates sound into every direction. It's not controlled. If you want to shoot sound over a long distance, you have to make it very loud here in the front in order to hear the sound in the back. And that's pretty much where we were until about 20 years ago, when some very inventive Frenchman invented what we call the line array. This is what you can see here on the left and on the right. It means that we can control sound in one dimension. We steer the sound in such a way that it's not so loud here in the front, and we try to get it similar loud here on the back. So that's what I'm trying to show here with this visualization. And what we've added now in terms of technology is that we've added a third dimension to that control with that matrix array, meaning we can control the sound in every dimension now, not just over distance, but also horizontally. Another picture here to visualize this. Now the clicker stopped working. You're not making my life easier up here. Now it works again. Another picture here to visualize this. If you're going to a concert and you've all seen these large line arrays, banana-shaped speakers hanging on the left and on the right, what you see here is a visual representation of how that sound is emanating from that line array. And if you go over here with that matrix array technology that we have invented, you have the capability of controlling the sound in the horizontal and in the vertical and really contain it. And that was really, really important for the Sphere project because we are inside a spherical structure. I'm not sure how often anybody of you has been inside a spherical structure, but if anybody has ever been and you listen to your own voice, what you get is a lot of echoes from all of the walls. And it's nearly impossible to, do a concert inside here. But Jim Dolan, the CEO of MSG, said, I want to do a concert inside a spherical structure. And they found us in Berlin that helped them actually making this possible. The second thing that I would like to talk about, apart from that we can control sound a lot more, we've made ourselves a name in the industry of being able to concealing loudspeakers. This is the bit that really made Sphere work. Not only can we control sound in 3 dimensions, but we can put a screen in front of the loudspeaker and still control the sound that is passing through the screen and making sure through our algorithms that the sound that is reaching the ear is doing exactly what the people that designed the sound were intended to. And that is a bit of technology that we, for the first time, actually brought into Sphere. And here I give you a cut through to this building to show you a little bit about how just insane that project was. So that whole building has a diameter of about 140 meters. From the floor to the top here, it's 110 meters. From the floor to the top of that screen here, it's 70 meters. What you see here is one of our large loudspeaker arrays. It's about 400 of our X1 speakers, the ones I showed you before. Each of these speakers is roughly 100 to 150 kilograms. And we're using this large array to shoot sound through that LED screen about 110 meters to the very large audience members here, but also to the audience members that are on the very front here while the band is standing on stage here without having feedback and at the same time having a very even coverage. Not just that, not just a very even coverage. There's about 60 arrays. There's a total of 1,600 of these loudspeakers in Sphere, but there's about 60 arrays, so we're doing an immersive sound system. So what you experienced from a cinema, something very similar. Even not maybe so much used during the concerts, although there are moments when like guitars are swirling around you. But once you go into the cinematic content that they're showing there, it really comes to life. It shines. Here, this is the visual experience that you have in the building, and here, just as an overlay, if you're an audience member, you look at this picture on the screen, but what you're not seeing is actually a large quantity of loudspeakers that is hidden behind the screen, and we are processing the sound in such a way that the audience is having an uninhibited audio experience, an uninhibited visual experience. This is giving you a brief glimpse onto the R&D lab, I want to say. The work that we've done together with the company Seiko out of Canada, out of Montreal, who's been designing the screen that went in this building. We've worked very, very much together, I want to say, to make that screen that they put into the building as audio transmissive as possible, while at the same time allowing them to have the best possible image quality that they can get on that screen. So you can, if you look at that here, it's nearly see-through. It has a 6mm pixel pitch though, so it's a 18K screen that you have on the inside here, and you see one of our loudspeaker modules here behind it. And what we are doing in our software, we are compensating for the diffraction that the screen is bringing to the audio, and this is something that's very new. You've seen speakers behind screens pretty much in cinemas, all your life, but what you haven't done in cinemas is you don't have these long distances that you have to shoot over. No? You don't have the requirements for having that even coverage of audio over that large audience of 20,000 people. No? So we have here one of what we call a beam of audio that has a certain aperture, a certain angle of openness, a certain steering, and we need to make sure that once that beam passes through the LED screen, it is not affected by the distortion that that screen brings to the audio. And hence there's maths that are running in the background that basically once the beam passed through the LED screen, brings the beam back into its original shape and also back to its original sound, the sound that we intended to. And I'm trying to show you a visualization here where you can see this is a top view of the sphere, of the audience areas in sphere, as I said, from the bottom here where the loudspeakers are to the very back, 110 meters. And this is the main loudspeaker array that we have in sphere, shooting through the screen. And what I'm trying to show you here is the evenness of coverage, the evenness of sound level that we're achieving in sphere, which is 98.4 over a distance of 110 meters, unheard of. This is like, if you guys are into audio, I know you're not, but if you're into audio, this is something that nobody else has ever seen outside of sphere, and this is adding to the concert experience in sphere. No matter where you are sitting in this building, you're really getting truly the same audio experience. It's not like when you're on a large concert, the further away you're moving from the stage, the muddier the sound gets, the more distorted the sound gets. We've not just done this in sphere. This technology is available for literally everyone who wants to work together with us. I try to introduce you here to two more projects, or it's multiple projects, but it's two more of our clients that we've done projects together. Here's the Illuminariums. 3 venues currently running out of Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Macau. It's an immersive venue. That format has really caught traction over the last years. So it's a 360-degree projection plus a floor projection, and you don't see any of the speakers. You don't see any of the loudspeakers. And we're doing this by, again, also concealing the loudspeakers within the projection screen, and our software is correcting for the distortion that that projection screen brings to the sound. So inside the audience area, you're having a truly undistorted, truly immersive audio experience. Another venue where we're doing this very successfully is the last year opened Lightroom that just got a second location in Seoul. Also, what you can see here is one of these 360-degree projections plus ground projection. And what we were, the challenge that we were facing in this room even, is that this was a project that got, it basically during COVID, it only got its use case. They weren't planning to put this immersive art installation into this room. It's a concrete box in the north of London. And they didn't plan for any locations of the loudspeakers. So we only had 2 locations in the room, 2 in this concrete box where we actually could put our loudspeakers, and we're using our beam steering technology to shoot the loudspeakers in this picture that you don't see. They're right up here. But the audience wants to localize audio up here, and we're using kind of like a game of billiards thing with the audio, where we're shooting audio from the loudspeakers against the wall in these concrete boxes, and then it bounces off the concrete box, and people can hear the audio coming from over here, despite the speaker being there. And it's truly amazing, it's truly immersive. One of my favorite venues outside of the sphere. If you ever get a chance to London or Korea, go see Lightroom. And it truly shows the creative potential, the much more enlarged creative palette that we offer to people from the sound design perspective, but also, again, as I say, in peaceful coexisting harmony with you screen people, because we don't get in your way anymore. No? You can't put the screen wherever you want to put the screen. We try to shoot through the screen as good as we can. It needs to be transmissive, of course. No? We can't shoot through this screen here. It's a piece of it's a piece of screen, but we could use the screen to bounce sound off from that screen. So if the speaker would be over here, we could shoot at the screen, and the sound would come back to you. Just very briefly to the product offering that our company currently have. We have the X1 here on the left, which is, as we call it, the ultimate sound system for live entertainment applications. 1,600 of these inside Sphere. This is the really big one, the one that was developed with no cost spared. We need to make the best sound system in the world for Sphere. But we just recently announced at ISE this year the X2, which is the same core technology, but more optimized for speech-focused content. And we're planning to bring this in a lot of airports, a lot of large train stations, conference centers all around in the world. And also here, that same screen compensation technology, that same coexistence that we're offering with the larger one will become available. Also, this one here, weatherproof and much more easier to architecturally integrate. So for the points in time where we're not hidden behind the screen, it's only 12 centimeters deep, so we can put it on a wall. It comes in different colors. This is pretty much all I wanted to tell you. However, I'm sure there is some questions that you guys have towards Sphere or how that actually works. I didn't know how much deep I should go into the technical details. But if there's any questions in the audience, please let me know. Questions? Yes, please. The budget for the audio system, I can tell you the budget of the whole venue. The budget of the venue, or it grew over time, was $2.8 billion. Billion. It was a very expensive venue. I want to say the most expensive venue that they ever built, or one has ever built. The audio system was a tiny sliver into that pond. The screen was, I think, one of the bigger. I mean, it has the LED screen outside and the LED screen inside. I want to say construction, obviously, building a spherical structure becomes very expensive. The screen was very expensive. The audio system was, to my knowledge, the most expensive audio system that ever got installed in any venue. I can't tell you how much it was. More questions? Yes, please. Yes. Yeah, there's about 1,600 fixed install behind the screen. The question was, what do we use mobile units for in Sphere? And then dependent on the exact artist setting, where is the stage, how big is the stage, we add additional speakers under the stage, try to conceal them in the projection areas around the stage to have the best possible sound experience for also people that are around the stage. So a total speakers they have available in Sphere is roughly 2,000. And then for U2, 1,600 were fixed installed, and roughly another 100 were mobile in various locations, but they were not part of the building structure. Maybe one funny anecdote about how we built that building. The 1,600 speakers that we have fixed install, plus all of the framing and all of the rigging that these speakers needed, were roughly 300 tons in total weight. So this is a lot of weight. In terms of the architects were very concerned about how they deal with that weight. And one way that they did this was they made that audio system an integral part of the building structure in a way that when they built that building, all of the steel beams that form that spherical structure, they had during the building process, during the building stage, they had to suspend 300 tons of dead concrete weight in these positions where the speakers were for the beams to actually meet at the top so they could join them in the top. And once the beams were joined, they could then take the dead weight out again and replace it by speakers during later stages in the construction process. This is when we really knew we won this project, because we knew they were putting dead weight that represents our speakers into the building as of now. Yes, please. Yes, I've heard this rumor. I don't know anything about this yet. I think they've made tests. There were some outside audio activations also during the U2 show. What actually is happening there, we will see. Yes, please. I'm sorry. I'm
How long will it be before, basically, what's the lifetime? How long before anything needs to be replaced?
Yeah. So on the LED, I've seen them replacing some of the LEDs already. You will also find videos online if you care for looking where they had some failures on the LED. It's been built for serviceability in mind. So the LED needs to be serviced from the front. So they've got the world's largest sort of like crane that they can on the inside, then put somebody up there and take the LED tile off and replace it. That is happening quite regularly. On the speakers, we have a similar servicing concept where we take the speakers out from the back. We can service them one by one. They're sort of like not joined to each other. We didn't have to do this yet. Yes, please. It's really hard to understand you. The question is, how much additional power do we use to compensate for the screen in front of it? So the whole audio system in the Las Vegas Sphere, I'm not sure if this is a record, but we use about 1.5 megawatts of power just for the audio system. If we, if U2 turns it up to 11, that's a lot. I can't really say it uses 5% more or 1% more just to compensate for that screen, because it basically is just different math that is applied to whatever comes out of the individual driver. It's hard to quantify, but I don't expect it to be like more. It's just different. Yes, please. Yeah. The question was, is our company just recently got acquired by the Sphere. They were a minority shareholder so far, and we recently got acquired by the venue operator, by MSG themselves. Funniest comment I've seen online about this was they just got themselves a lifetime service contract, which is true in a way. What we have seen on the Holoplot side, we are going to continue operating as an individual business that is being competitive on the market and is offering our products to whomever wants to buy them. That is not changing. What we are noticing so far from the acquisition, which is like 3-4 weeks ago, is that we have just significantly more resources to do more things that we wanted to do but couldn't do before. So if anything, I would expect that we can accelerate our growth and we can accelerate the growth of our technology to bring it to even more people but the Sphere. Are there more questions? It's bright up here, I can't see it, but I don't see any hands anymore. If not, thanks for having me. Thanks for not booing at the audio people or the audio person. And as I said, towards a future where we can happily coexist.